Today is February 28th. It's the 59th day of the year, and this is the On This Day podcast. If you've been listening since the very first day, some of this may sound a little familiar to you. If you've joined after that, it'll all be new. Either way, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Brand spanking new episodes coming very soon. In 1935, a gentleman named Wallace Carruthers is working at DuPont, doing research work on new synthetic polymers. Carruthers previously taught organic chemistry at Harvard before being lured away by DuPont to work in their experimental station. In 1930, Carruthers and his team create a synthetic rubber that is later called neoprene, used these days for things like wetsuits, fishing waders, laptop sleeves, and knee braces. The team then works on creating a synthetic fiber, but everything they come up with either melts at high temperatures or dissolves into a messy goo in hot water. Not good if you want to get your clothes dry cleaned. After a sabbatical to deal with his clinical depression, Carruthers shifts his focus at DuPont to researching superpolymers with no real direction or end goal, just to do it. But his work reveals new possibilities for fiber. And on this day in 1935, Wallace Carruthers and Gerard Birkett create a fiber called polyamide 66, what we now call nylon, which is used these days for pretty much everything. Prime Minister Olof Palme of Sweden likes to live like a regular guy. For him, that means going without any kind of security detail of bodyguards. In the evening on this day in 1986, Palme and his wife decide to go to the movies on the spur of the moment. Walking home after the film, sometime after 11 p.m., Olof Palme is fatally shot in the back at point-blank range by an unknown assailant who escapes down an alleyway. Police have very few leads to go on. They have the bullet fragments from Palme and from his wife who's also shot, and that's about it. Witnesses vaguely describe the suspect, but none are able to provide any specific description of the assassin. Over the years, a number of theories are contemplated. It was Swedish extremists. It was the Kurdistan Workers' Party. It was Yugoslavian secret police. It was Germans, South Africans, a Chilean fascist, the CIA. One man, Christer Peterson, is picked out of a lineup by Palme's wife who survives the attack. He's tried and convicted of the murder, but later that conviction is overturned, possibly a case of mistaken identity. Exactly who assassinates Swedish Prime Minister Olof Palme on this day in 1986 remains a mystery. On this day in 1993, agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms approach a compound in Waco, Texas, with a warrant to search the premises for evidence of illegally modified weapons and evidence of a methamphetamine lab. The ATF planned to surprise the residents, members of a religious sect called the Branch Davidians, led by a stereotypically charismatic preacher named David Koresh. However, word has gotten out to the press, and a TV camera crew, lost on their way to the compound, stop a postal carrier to ask for directions. The postal carrier just happens to be David Koresh's brother-in-law, and he gives the Branch Davidians a heads up. When the ATF arrive at the compound to serve their warrants, shots ring out, and a gunfight ensues for the next hour and a half. Both sides claim the other fires first. Once the gun battle ends, Koresh gives phone interviews to local outlets and to CNN. By the end of this day in 1993, 4 ATF agents are dead, as are 5 Branch Davidians, and everyone else settles in for a siege that will last for the next 51 days and end with the destruction of the compound by fire and the deaths of most of the Branch Davidians inside. Pope Benedict XVI steps down from the highest position in the Catholic Church on this day in 2013. The nearly 86-year-old pontiff leaves the papacy due to his age and declining health. On this day in 2013, Pope Benedict meets for the final time with the College of Cardinals, and then heads to the papal palace of Castel Gandolfo, where he greets the crowd from the balcony there one last time. By 8 p.m., his resignation is official. 2 weeks later, the Archbishop of Buenos Aires, Jorge Bergoglio, is elected pope, and he takes the name Francis, Pope Francis. I mention this all briefly because it is an historic day for the Church. Pope Benedict is the first pontiff to resign since Pope Gregory XII in the year 1415. But I'll be honest, more so, I just wanted the opportunity to use the word pontiff. Such a great word, pontiff. And I rarely have the opportunity to use that. There are 307 days left in the year. Pontiff.